Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Speaking Up Podcast, and I'm your host, Darius Silver, aka Mr. GQ, back with another conversation, back with another hot topic, and back with another discussion. It's only going to make you better, stronger, most importantly, it's going to make you speak up, because that's one of the most important things we can do in life is speak up on things that we are passionate about, and it's important to us. So, if you're a new viewer, thank you for tuning in. And if you're a returning viewer, you know what it is. Much love, as always, to you. I'm excited for today's episode, as I always am for every episode that I make and talk about. Because all my topics come from me. It comes from what I feel, how I feel, and hopefully it will inspire you to speak on issues and topics that you're passionate about. And so, if you're ready for today's episode, stay with me. Let's ride. So, for today's episode, is a good one. And it's related to, you're watching this Speak on That podcast right now. So let me ask you this. What are you doing if you ever hit the subscribe button right now? What are you doing if you ever hit the share or like button right now? And what are you doing if you haven't commented something right now or shared your opinion or spoke up on something? So do me a favor. Before you continue, subscribe, like, leave a comment, and most importantly, speak up. The WNBA, but directly at the one and only Caitlin Clark, and to a lesser degree, Angel Reese, but mainly about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And to be frank and very, very direct, that need to be, the hate that Caitlin Clark receives, the hate, the disrespect, the criticism, the shots, and all that, it has to stop. It has to stop. And this is only, the stuff that she gets, the hate, the criticism, the disrespect, the whole nine, the only reason why it's coming is that it happens on a daily basis, especially in the season, because she's a white girl that can hoop. If nobody's gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. The reason why, because she's a white girl that can hoop better than most. And to be frank with you, can hoop better than a lot of men basketball players. Better than professional men basketball players. So, to get this out the way, the hate that she's received, the hate that Caitlin Clark receives on a daily basis needs to stop and needs to end. And the reason why, I say it again, only reason why she receives hate is because she's a white girl that can hoop and hoop good. How's that? So tell me, if that's not wrong, I don't know what is. People want to say that, oh, Caitlin received so much grace and respect opposed to other players, Angel Reese or any other black WNBA players. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Angel Reese. Shoot, I love Angel Reese. I've been high on Angel Reese all the time since I seen her play at LSU, since Kayla's been at Iowa. So I'm high on both of these players. But Angel Reese doesn't receive the same hate as Caitlin Clark does. It's just egregious. Both of them receive a lot of hate, but to less degree, Angel receives less hate opposed to Caitlin, especially that Caitlin pretty much is saving the WNBA, bringing more eyes to the WNBA, bringing more awareness to the NBA. And the reason why people hate that because she's white, she's doing it, opposed to how black people have saved the NFL, black people have saved the NBA, black people have saved various other sports. And don't get me wrong, I'm gonna say this too. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese is like the comparison of Magic and Bird saving the NBA. I have to say that because think about it. When Magic and Bird came into the league, it wasn't just white versus black. It's the same circle. They were opponents, competitors, and pretty much hated each other since they were in college. Since they was in college. When Magic was at Michigan State and then Bird was at Indiana State. This goes back then. So this is the same thing with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying they hated each other, but to a competitive degree, they didn't like each other. When that was back in Iowa and LSU, when Caitlin was at Iowa and Angel Reese was at LSU. It's the same circle. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Bird and Magic Johnson. They saved Magic and Bird saved the NBA. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has saved the WNBA. Those two people right there have kept the WNBA interesting. This all goes back to my point where saying that since Caitlin Clark is doing this, Angel Reese is doing this, but more degree, Caitlin Clark is doing this not just for her or for she's doing it for women's sports entirely, women's basketball entirely. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, salaries would have been raised. Private jets wouldn't have become a thing. More professional facilities that wouldn't become a thing that she's done for the league, done for women, done for women's sports. So the hate that she receives on a daily basis is egregious. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying that she needs anybody to come to a defense for her because Caitlin Clark is a grown woman, Angel Reese is a grown woman. So I'm not saying that they need defending or she needs defending, but someone has to say what some people aren't saying that needs to be said. She receives slack and hate for no reason. It's for no reason. Physical play on the court, which is uncalled for. Shots taken on the court for whichever. Off the court stuff. Since she was in college, don't get me wrong. Angel Reese has received a lot of disrespect too, since she was in college too. But how she carries herself. Sometimes people see her as a ghetto black girl or a girl that's just black and gonna act her way. Yes, Angel Reese does receive that type of hate as well, which is not right. But I'm also not gonna say just because Angel Reese is being hated on that Caitlin Clark is not being hated on either. Caitlin Clark is being hated on a lot, which is kind of crazy because she's done a lot, not just for women, not just for white women, but all women's sports, black, white, Hispanic, etc. So the hate that she receives on a daily basis needs to stop, has to stop. And I need someone to tell me why Caitlin Clark should receive the hate that she receives. Is it because she's passionate? She loves the game. She's a competitor. She wants to win, just like any other athlete out there. I mean, name me one athlete, male or female, who doesn't want to win. Name me one athlete that isn't passionate, that has a voice, that wants a voice, that's not going to speak his or her mind. Name me one athlete, especially a star athlete, as either one of them, Caitlin or Angel Reese. Name me one that's not going to speak up and do things their way. Especially when she has the palm of her league in her hands. Just as Bird, Magic, and Michael did. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The statistics would tell you straight. If Caitlin Clark was not in the league, would viewership and audience would grown as it has been so far? Let me know. Not just what she's done for Indiana, but for the league. Every arena that Caitlin Clark goes to, especially when she's in college, butts in the seats. Ticket sales were up. Money in her pockets, women's pockets, in the league's pockets. Tell me I'm wrong. But she has the nerve to be hated on just because people don't like her because she can hoop and she's white. Fair is fair. Respect is respect. Angel Reese is hated on because how people think she carries herself and just because she's gonna be who she is. There's nothing wrong with that. Angel Reese has the right to be who she wants to be, who she is, and how she wants to do it. Same thing as Caitlyn. Both of them don't need to receive the hate that they receive. They don't. So I'm coming to the defense of both women, but to a lesser degree, Angel. Caitlyn rarely speaks her mind when it comes to the podium. It says what that shouldn't be said, but she doesn't want to because she's very, very class personified, just like how Chris Paul was, or Steve Nash back in the day, to LeBron to a lesser degree. Like she carries herself of saying, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction on me speaking on issues that I know I need to speak on that shouldn't be said. That's what she gets. That's what she gets people. And she knows, and Caitlyn Clark knows she's hated. That just comes with the lifestyle that she chose. But that's the only reason why she's being hated on. She's been hated on since she was in Iowa, and how she's grown her brand, how Angel Reese has grown her brand. That's the only way. That's the only reason why she's hated on, and it has to stop. I'm a huge fan of Caitlyn Clark. A huge fan. She can hoop. She saved the WNBA. She saved the WNBA. Shoot, be frank with you, by herself at this particular point. And there's many players that's coming to the league that's coming to the WNBA league that hate that she gets the most credit. Why? Yes, I know basketball's a team sport. Most sports are a team sport. So Sean shouldn't be just on one player. But that's ignorant of you to think that. That's just ignorant of the women that's in the WNBA, the players that's in the WNBA. That's ignorant of them to think that. I'm gonna tell you why. Every team has a star. Football, basketball, volleyball, soccer. Every team has a star. Every team has a spokesperson. Every team has a leader. Every team has a captain. So the fact that the league, the people around the league, and WNBA hates that she gets the most shine. Tell me why. In the NBA, in the 90s, or in the 80s and 90s, who was the most spokesperson of the league? Michael. Who in the early 2000s? Who was the spokesperson of the league? Kobe. Late to 2010s, who was the spokesperson of the league? LeBron. Steph. For football, Tom Brady. I mean, so the fact, and they were respected. They were hated on, but they were respected to a more degree because what they brought to the league. They saved the league. They saved their leagues. So why can't Caitlyn Clark get the same recognition of saving the league? She to be frank with you, this might sound ignorant for me, but to be frank with you, she deserves a statue at every city, at every arena that's in the WNBA, because what she's bringing to each arena and league. Butts in the seats, ticket sales, and money. She deserves a statue at every single arena. That's how important Caitlyn Clark is to women's sports. That's how important she is. And for anybody who disagrees, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. You don't have to be a Caitlyn Clark fan to know the truth. You don't have to be You have to be a women's sports fan to know the truth. Facts are facts. Statistics are statistics. And if anyone with two eyes can see. Anyone with two eyes can see. For anybody who disagrees, give me one good reason why I'm wrong. Yeah. Give me one good reason that I'm wrong, that Caitlyn Clark should receive more hate or has the right to be hated on. She has the right to be criticized about her game. If she has one bad game or just like every other athlete out there, she has the right to be criticized about that. But the fact that she's been criticized about, she's this, she's that, she receives too much this, she receives too much that. No, you're wrong. I mean to tell you that you're wrong. You're wrong. Again, I'm going to say Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese are grown women. They don't need to be defended at any other point, but the Caitlyn Clark hate has to stop. The Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark saga black, white against the other, white is gets privilege and black doesn't. That has to stop too, to a certain extent, whatsoever. It just has to stop. And don't get me wrong, we all see it. I mean, with our eyes, anybody's a fool doesn't see it. But those narratives, that hate has to stop, only because it's not justified. If it was justified, please tell me. If it was justified, believe me, I would understand. But I don't see not one factual thing that around us that makes it justified for both of them to receive hate, and to less degree Angel and more degree Caitlyn. For what they've done for women's sports in terms of money, all of us that all care about is money in our pockets, a comfortable living. What they've done, they both of them still receive hate. So I can honestly say they both saved the league. To be fair, they both saved the league, but they still receive the most hate. But this is a topic I could talk about all day, every day, all day long. Especially when it comes to sports. So, had to get that off my chest. I feel better. I was very direct, very blunt with you, as I always am. But it needed to be said. And hopefully, the viewers out there, whoever will see this episode of the Speak On Now podcast, hopefully you guys learned something, or mine changed a little bit today in terms of seeing a different perspective, especially for all the sports fans out there, women's sports fans, men's sports fans, for any sport fan. Hopefully you guys are able to rethink things a little bit more. So, yeah. Another episode of Speaking Out Podcast coming soon. Trust me. More topics in the pipeline, in the holster. So keep on coming back for more and more and more. And if you're a new viewer, make sure you pay attention to how we do things around here. And if you're a returning viewer, just going to end this podcast out as we always do, the right way. Stay mellow. Keep that mellow mind. Stay focused on what's important and what brings you peace. And as my man Ken Newton says, you got one finger, one pinky, one thumb, one love. Boom.